broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors, Mr. Mike Roach. He's live with us on the line. Mike, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, sir. How are you today?
I'm very good, my friend. Did you watch Boston against New York just now?
Well, I did. It was a pretty rough game for the New York Knicks. I mean, the Boston Celtics just beat them down head to toe.
Wow. Many people expected by this time around it would have been 2-0 for Boston going into the Garden and possibly 3-0 after today. As it now stands, it's 2-1. How do you see the series going, though?
Well, you know what? I mean, you're correct. Most people did think it would probably be 2-1 in favor of the Boston Celtics. I know I certainly did. But even though the Boston Celtics were down 0-2, they've now won one game to make it 2-1. The series isn't over by a long shot. And that is why I think people thought it was critical for the New York Knicks to try to go up 3-0 today in this series. Because even though Boston went down 0-2, the crazy thing is that they had 20-point leads in game one and game two in the third quarter and blew those leads. So it's not like they played terrible. In those games 1 and 2, they did collapse horribly. I will say that. But because that happened in game 1 and 2, these guys are champions. They've already been there. I don't think you were going to expect that to happen again. And so today, what they did, they came out, they punched New York in the mouth early, and New York was just not able to recover.
Yeah. And Boston, what was the biggest lead today?
31 from the Celtics.
Whoa, and they didn't blow it this time around at all.
No, didn't
had they done that, had they done that and gone 3-0 down, their morale would have been down, their confidence, and probably it would have been swept in the series come Monday night for the fourth game, and so on. But you still think Boston is going to come back to win the series, or you think New York has a chance still?
I still think Boston is going to come back and win this series, to be quite honest with you. I just think the Boston Celtics, they're just really tough. They have a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys. When you look at this roster from head to toe, you're looking at Tatum, Horford, Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and then you're looking at this guy in Peyton Pritchard, who is the sixth man of the year, comes into the game today, 23 points. He's a +8 in regards to his plus minus. And not only that, he shoots 50% from 3-point range and goes 5 for 10 from downtown. They have a lot of pieces. They're tough defensively. They don't play with ego. And because of that, just their length, their size, their firepower, I still believe the Boston Celtics are going to come back and win this series.
Boston in 6, Boston in 7?
I would say Boston in 7. I think the Knicks can get one more. And who knows? The Knicks they're a formidable team. They're tough. They're very, very tough. They came back and won games 1 and 2, being down by 20 plus points for a reason. It's because they have a guy who was the clutch man of the year in Jalen Brunson. He's nothing to sneeze at. And they have very good defensive players. If you look at Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and the heart that Jalen Brunson has, not to mention Josh Hart, by the way, as well. They have very good players, very good players. They're nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah. All right, so there's one more game today. It's Golden State against Minnesota, and it's a series is tied up one apiece at the moment. Game 3 in Golden State. They're still without Steph Curry. Is this an opening for Minnesota to sort of steal one on Golden State's court?
Well, I think so. Like, missing Steph Curry is a very, very big deal. He completely changes the way a defense prepares for games. Steph Curry stretches the floor out so much with his ability to shoot the ball that everybody else gets to do things differently when he's on the floor. When he's not there to space that floor, it shrinks now. And now it gives the defense, Minnesota, an advantage, right? They get to clog the lane a little bit more because if you look at Draymond Green, not really a shooter. Jimmy Butler can make 3-point shots, but not really a 3-point shooter. Now, Podziemski and Buddy Hield, those are guys you're going to have to look at along with a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. But Buddy Hield is really the key here, if you ask me. Buddy Hield is that guy that you're going to have to look to lean on to be able to get you some points offensively, especially from 3-point range. Last game he goes 4 of 9 from 3-point range. You're probably going to want to see that again because it's the only way that you're going to be able to beat Minnesota at this point. They're going to clog the lane. Randall is there. Rudy Gobert is there. McDaniels is there. They have length on the perimeter. They have size with their front court players. So it's going to be tough. 3-point shooting is going to be key. And to me, a guy like Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield are going to be really, really important for the Golden State Warriors.
What's the latest on the return date for Steph Curry?
Well, they're saying he's going to be out at least a week. So that looks like it's going to be maybe, I'm probably looking at around Wednesday or Thursday of this week coming. So, I mean, that is... Sorry, go ahead.
Are they capable, the Golden State Warriors, of beating the Timberwolves without Steph Curry? I don't mean a one game, but to win the series if Steph doesn't come back, because I hear people talking about a hamstring injury, and if there's a hamstring injury, it probably will take more than a week. But let's say he's out for an extended period. Is Golden State good enough to beat Minnesota?
I don't think they are.
Without him?
I don't think they are, to be quite honest with you. Steph Curry, because of what he does and how he plays, he just affects the game so much. And I don't think they have the requisite pieces to be able to substitute for that, for what he does. He stretches the floor. He can get to the basket. He's a good passer. He can get in passing lanes. He's a decent defender. He's tough. We already mentioned his 3-point shooting. He's clutch at the same time. He can make free throws at a high percentage. It's just really, really difficult to replace what he does. There's nobody in the league that really plays. I mean, there's a couple guys who can maybe play similar, but to be able to replace what he does, he's just a guy who's irreplaceable. And I just don't see them able to win this series unless he's healthy, because Minnesota, on the other hand, they got everybody. I mean, Randall is there, McDaniels, Gobert, Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards. They got DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Nikhil Alexander. I mean, everybody's there. Everybody's there. And they don't have ego. They play like a team. They don't whine and complain. Everybody knows their role. There's leadership there. And I'm just not sure Golden State is going to be able to beat a team like Minnesota without Steph Curry. It would be tough with Steph Curry. So imagine without him.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's look at tomorrow. We've got Denver against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've got Indiana against Cleveland. Let's take the Cleveland series where Indiana lead by 2-1. A lot of people say they can forgive Cleveland for the first two games. They went 2-0 down, particularly because they were without quite a few of their regular starters, and they hit back and avoided going down 3-1. Avoided going down 3-0. They'll now have to still try to level the series tomorrow. But Indiana is proving to be a team in the postseason that's almost unrecognizable. There was this Indiana Pacers in the regular season. They just look a different team now.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, like, I can understand Indiana winning games. Indiana is a very tough team. They're a hard matchup because of the style of basketball that they play. They're very up and down. They shoot the three quite well. They have dynamic players. When you look at a guy, Pascal Siakam, Nesmith, I mean, the ability of Miles Turner to be a center who can stretch the floor, who can block shots, the emergence of Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton. These guys have guys for days. Benedict Mathurin, who's a guy who they didn't have last season, and even in defeat, game 3 still puts in 23 points. The point of what I'm trying to say is they have a lot of players that are very capable. TJ McConnell is another guy. And so I can understand why they won, especially game 1 and 2 in Cleveland, especially because Cleveland was missing some of their best guys. Now, in game 1, they were missing their starting point guard in Darius Garland. But then you go to game 2, they're missing Garland. They're missing Evan Mobley, who's a hell of a player, gave you 18 points last game. He's also the defensive player of the year. And then on top of that, you're also missing DeAndre Hunter, who's one of the best bench players in the league. He can start for probably 20 out of 30 teams in the NBA. You don't have those guys, and those are your key guys. You're going to be in a pretty difficult game, if you ask me. And Cleveland was actually up big in that game in game 2. Indiana Pacers come and rally and take that lead. But now everybody is healthy and back in the lineup. Everybody is healthy and back in the lineup in game 3. And like Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, 2 very long players, both can block shots, both defend the paint. And then Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, even though they're not big in size, Darius Garland, very shifty with the ball, can shoot it, has a handle, he's quick. Donovan Mitchell is just an absolute stud. Absolute stud. 37 minutes in last game, 14 of 29 from the field, 5 of 13 from three-point range. He had 43 points. 43 points. He is a guy who's kind of unstoppable. If you play him one-on-one, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. If you don't have a good team defense, Donovan Mitchell is nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. He will light you up, and he will light you up big time.
He scored 48 in the losing effort in game 1.
Oh,
he was as you rightly say, he's really a beast.
He is a beast. He's unbelievable. And another guy that we don't mention enough is Max Strus. Max Strus is a hell of a player. Good shooter, plus 32 in his plus minus the last game, 20 points, 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 8 from three-point range. He also gives you 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So he's an all-around player, just a really, really good player. But Cleveland, I'll say this. If Cleveland is healthy, because Darius Garland, he was grimacing from play to play if you really watched him in game 3. Nonetheless, the team is healthy. If Indiana lets Cleveland tie this thing up 2-2, going back now to Cleveland, I think Indiana might be in a little bit of trouble here. Even though I really like their team. But they might be in trouble.
You could be looking at Cleveland in 6 then.
I think it's going to go 7. I think it's going to go 7. Now, it could be Cleveland in 6, but Indiana can. This is tough. This is really, really a tough series. I mean, it really is because, as you know, in regards to sports and when it comes to the playoffs and when it's getting down to the nitty gritty, it's all about matchups, right? It's all about matchups. Teams play differently, and it's all about the team that you're up against and who you're matched up against. And right now, this is a pretty evenly matched series, and Indiana does have what it takes to win the series, but I'm still going to go Cleveland to win because everybody is back in the lineup.
Yeah, very good analysis. So Denver against Oklahoma is the other game tomorrow, the early game at 2:30. So Denver lead the series by 2-1. They're on home floor. Oklahoma was the team that was setting the league alight in the 82-game regular season. And so it was a surprise when Denver, surprise to some, because Denver, many people believe, has the best player in the world. And at the minute, Denver is leading by 2-1 and could go 3-1 up tomorrow if they have their way on their home court. How do you see this one going?
You know, this is a hell of a series. I mean, it's tight, man. It's really tight because there's a lot of good basketball players on these two teams. And it's like you mentioned, even Nikola Jokic did not have a great game last game. 88 of 25 from the field in 44 minutes. He had 20 points, but he did not have a good game. 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. 8 turnovers, though. And I'm circling that number. 8 turnovers. But just overall, I think some people look at Denver and we're looking at them kind of like a team of the past almost. They won just a couple years ago. But I mean, Aaron Gordon is a big part of this team. Shooting well from 3-point range, 4 of 6 from last game. Michael Porter Jr. to me is the key. Like if Michael Porter Jr. can be consistent with his shooting and his play offensively, it gives Denver a huge boost because sometimes he's a no-show. I feel like he's one of those guys, you watch the games and you never know exactly what he's going to give you, right? Like when you watch the Joker, you watch Jamal Murray, to a certain degree, we already know about Joker, but at least when you watch Jamal Murray, you know what he's going to give you. You know what he's going to give you. He's going to be solid. He's going to give you at least 20. He's going to give you assists. He's going to give you probably a few steals as well. He's going to be solid. But Michael Porter Jr. is that kind of guy. He can either give you 20 points or he can give you 2. And you don't know what you're going to get. But if he shows up and he's stretching the floor from 3-point range, he shows up defensively, and he's able to rebound for you, get the ball out in transition and go, then you're looking at a different ball game if you're the Denver Nuggets. This kid, Christian Braun, he's a good player as well. He's a good player. Want to see a little bit more from him, but I mean, I get it, right? You're giving up a lot of shots to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon, which I understand. And so when he gets the ball, if he's going to be shooting, he's got to try to be consistent. Now, a big key also is Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook, the energy that he brings, the confidence that he brings, I've never heard anybody say that Russell Westbrook is a bad teammate. And I just love his energy on both ends of the floor. Like I've seen Russell Westbrook is one of those guys. He's an anomaly. He is one of the best players that you can watch live. I've watched pretty much all of these guys live for years. And every time you watch Russell Westbrook, just his ability, his efforts, the enthusiasm that he plays with when he's on the court is something almost like you've never seen before. Just how hard he plays, and I love that about him. He's another piece that is key for the Denver Nuggets. But on the other side now, we're looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort. I mean, just a ton of talent here.
Of good players, yeah.
Just a ton of good players. And this thing is matched up so evenly. And you have 2 phenomenal players, the top 2 guys in the race for MVP. I do think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be the guy who comes out with it. But just him versus Jokic and the ability, the depth, and the size in the front court of Oklahoma City Thunder, I think this can go any way still. I'm not sure who's going to win this thing, but Oklahoma City is going to have to be careful here. They're going to have to be careful. They need consistency with their scoring. They got to make sure they're closing out on shooters. But overall, this is a very good series, and I would love to see it go 7 games. I'll tell you that.
Mike, is it one of the best playoff series you've watched? I mean, right across the board. When you look around the different matchups, there's so many talking points, and you start to wonder if you're watching perhaps the best postseason in a long while.
Honestly, I think you nailed it. This is definitely one of the best playoff series that I've seen in a long time, just through the East and the West. I mean, the playoffs, it's been great. It's really been good, and I'm happy about that considering how bad the regular season is right now in the NBA. So to see what we're seeing in the playoffs right now, I am sure the NBA is really, really happy right now.
And because of that, it's very difficult to really pick a winner of the title.
That's the best part about it. Because I feel like even when we were watching last year, right, you're looking at some of the teams that are there, but really, most of us knew, I would say a large percentage of us knew that the Boston Celtics were going to come out the champions. And you can't say that this year. You can look at maybe 3 teams that can legitimately win the championship this year. Like Denver can win the title this year. Oklahoma City can win the title this year. Cleveland can possibly win the title. New York can win it. Boston can win it. Like, these are a bunch of teams that can legitimately win the title this year. And that's the best part about what we're seeing in the postseason. And I hope it continues to be this way in the future. The parity is there. And trust me, the NBA is very happy right now.
Yeah. You touched on the whole question of the MVP race between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic. And you think Shai might just edge it. Why?
Well, I mean, he's had a historic season. We're talking about plus 30 a game. What he's doing from an assist standpoint, a rebounding standpoint. But on top of that, you have double-digit more wins than Nikola Jokic, even though Jokic is an absolutely phenomenal player. Not taking anything away from what Jokic does. But the difference to me on top of all of that is what they do on the defensive end of the basketball. Jokic is not really a good defensive player. He's pretty abysmal, to be completely honest with you. Not really good defensively. And to have a guy in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who can do what he does offensively, but still do what he does defensively on top of that, defense wins basketball games. It is a part of the sport. And he plays on both ends. You have to take that into consideration.
No,
when you look at,
I actually agree with you that I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should be the MVP. I just wanted to hear your view on it and why you believe he should be. But I totally agree with you. Not to take anything away, as you say, from Nikola, I still think he's the best player in basketball, separate and apart from the MVP race. I think Nikola is the best player in all of basketball. But I think what Shai has done this season, it's just a big season for him, and I think it is an MVP season that he has had, and I think it's just a matter of time before he gets there.
100% agree with you.
Let me ask you, LeBron, does he come back next year?
I think he does. I think he comes back next year.
You think the Lakers should move on from him? They call him Mr. Breakvad. They believe that they believe the dynamics between himself and Luka started out looking good, but they saw cracks in it as they went along, and eventually led to them being eliminated. You think it's time LA move on from him and start to build the team around Luka and adding other pieces to it, or you think LeBron still has something to prove or to do in LA?
No, I think it's time that they move on from each other. I really do, because to me, right now, this would be the best time to move on if you're LeBron James, because he actually has an excuse right now. He can say, listen, you brought in Luka Doncic, who's an absolute stud in the NBA, one of the best young players that you're going to find, barely has even reached his prime yet. The guy's only 25 years old. And LeBron can say at this point, listen, I see the writing on the wall. You traded for this kid, Luka Doncic, and I understand that you want to build the franchise around him. And if LeBron gets out the way of that, and possibly goes and joins another team, maybe he goes back to Cleveland. Who knows? It'd be the perfect scenario, in my opinion. But as of right now, to me, I don't think the key free agents that you want, that you're going to need to win, I don't think they want to play with LeBron anymore. I really don't.
Can I tell you?
Go ahead.
Can I tell you what I think is the best deal in all of this LeBron situation?
Okay.
I think he steps away from being a player. The organization keeps him, and he's a mentor.
But even with his ability to still give you 25, 7, and 7 a game?
You cannot find other players to give you that. That player who is going to give you that, you can find that in LA. What you will not find in LA is somebody with LeBron's experience to sort of mentor the players. What does he have to prove? He's padding his stats. I mean,
okay.
He's not going to win the NBA.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I want to ask you a question now quickly. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
LeBron has played now 22 seasons. Clearly, he's one of the best players of all time. Number 2 behind Michael Jordan was what most people say. Some say he is the best player of all time, right? You just mentioned and you said that he has nothing else to prove. Why do you think LeBron is still playing?
Padding his stats.
Padding his stats.
Padding his stats. Yes.
Do you think? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I also think, though, do you believe that he's playing because he truly doesn't believe that he's the best yet?
That's a part of it as well. And I also think the reason why he moves around so much, let me tell you something, Mike. He might not have said it. He said a lot, but you see that number 6 ring, he wants it so much.
Agreed.
I remember, you agree?
Yeah.
The comparison with Mike, it lives in his head, Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
That it lives in his head. And one of the key things in that comparison with Mike is that 6th ring. And that is what he's chasing. Don't see him getting it now unless he goes to one of those padded teams and they need a 20 point a season man and probably goes in and throw it there. But LeBron is padding his stats and hoping against hope that he can get that 6th ring, and then he would walk away. If he continues to do that, he'll end up like Serena Williams, chasing that 24, and it just never comes.
Right, and even I think he's just dying to get to 5. Like if he can just get the 5th one. One more question for you. If he were to leave LA and he has to get a ring, what team do you think he should go to?
Oh, first of all, it comes down to whether he wants to stay on the West Coast. I think he's taking a route now in LA. His wife is happy in LA. They have the sunshine in their back from time to time. His boy is playing now for LA, so maybe he'd want to stay on the West Coast. There've been arguments about him possibly joining Golden State. For the last 2 seasons, I've heard whispers that he would go there. I don't know what the Draymond is a good friend of his.
Yes.
And Steph is still there. I don't know if Jimmy is going to stay there. You think Jimmy's going to stay there for long, or they brought him in just for this player? I don't know. But if Jimmy stays there and Draymond stays there and Steph stays there, then I think if LeBron stays in the Bay Area and stays on the West Coast and join Golden State, they may have a shot at it. What could disrupt it is the clash of egos. It is Steph's team. What does LeBron do when he goes there? Play second fiddle like he's doing now to Luka? I don't know that he has that kind of personality. I think going back to Cleveland would probably be the best dynamic for him. But does he want to go back to Cleveland? I'm not sure.
Well, listen, I couldn't have said it better myself. Those might be probably your 2 best options. You said it perfectly. I got nothing else to add to that.
Right. Well, I'm happy. Let's see how it turns out. Let's see it goes. He's off. He's injured. Don't know he's going to end up in this, for holidays. But wherever he goes, I'm sure he's going to have to think about it. Talk to the back room, talk to the management at LA, and who knows? Off season is replete with a lot of bettings and goings and throwing and so on and so forth. So let's see what happens during the off season when he comes back from holiday.
Yeah, well, listen, we're going to miss him when he's gone, so I'm hoping to see him again.
Take care, Mike. Thanks a lot, bro.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All the best, man. Mike Roach there.